gorgeous? Does that funk have you feeling stuck? Have you questioning your purpose, or even yet having you asking if your best years are behind you? Girl, you have zero obligation to stay in that funk. This podcast is for women who want to get the funk out of here, who want to play bigger, ask for more, and step out of mediocrity. Imagine a life filled with lots of energy, excitement, and filled with spunk instead of that funk. This is the After 40 Unfunk Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Crystal, and I'm ready to talk some shit. Let's go! Hey, Superwomen, it's your friend, Crystal, coming at ya. I'm not your doctor, not your psychologist, just your friend talking about real-life experiences and sharing some of the things that I've learned. Last night, I was watching Scooby-Doo with my little one, and two skeletons were chasing Scooby. They ran into something and their bones went everywhere. When we thought the skeletons were done chasing Scooby, they put themselves back together. Now, one skeleton had his arm and his head in the wrong place, but he was still going in the same direction as Scooby and the other skeleton. There are days like this, right? Where you're just going with the flow and going in the direction you think you need to know or think you need to go. Thank the Lord your head is actually attached. But eventually, just like that skeleton who figured out he needed to switch his parts around and put his head and arm in the right place, we figure it out too, right? We get ourselves together. This is called resilience. And for those out there who haven't heard of resilience, it simply means to be able to withstand or recover quickly from a difficult condition. And boy, I bet you can think of a lot of examples about where you've been resilient. You've been through some hard stuff. And here you are still standing today. I just think of all the displays of resilience since the pandemic. Teachers teaching online, having to pivot, not being in the classroom. Parents at home with kids all the time, employees still working for their employer. The list goes on. And if you're listening to this podcast and born before the pandemic, then you're resilient because you got through it. I'm sure you can think of many other times pre-pandemic in which you were resilient. Is there something right now challenging your belief that you're resilient? It is so important to hold on to that belief, that thought, I am resilient. It helps us through the hard times. It helps us in the face of adversity. And sometimes when we get all funked up and we're trying to unfunk ourselves, it's because we've lost that belief or that thought that I am resilient. And for me right now, I don't know how many of you can relate, but I'm going to be completely open here. But it is this whole perimenopause thing, this transition time of life. It's kicking my butt. And just like I've asked you to use that strategy to find evidence, maybe when you lose that belief of resilience, find evidence that can support that we are resilient human beings. And so for me, I look to all of those survivors of menopause and call them my resilience heroes. And yes, I said survivors of menopause because it feels like a disease. Okay, just kidding. Okay, I'm sorry for those of you who didn't find that funny, but I have to find humor in the situation. Anyways, by grabbing this evidence that other women have gotten through this transition period of life, menopause, perimenopause, gives me confidence and reinforces that belief I am resilient. I got this. It is really one of those times of adversity and transition that can really leave us funked up. And if we don't carry that belief that I am resilient, we can get stuck in it, stuck in the funk. And here's the thing. Sometimes resilience is seen in hindsight, right? So resilience does come, but it may not be quick, like the skeleton who was quick to figure out his arms and his head were in the wrong place, and he was able to quickly switch it around and put all of his bones together. It may not be that quick. And this is where I lead into seasons of life. We've heard sayings about their seasons of life. But one thing to remember is that your seasons of life aren't congruent with the 4 seasons we have here on Earth. And now maybe some of you can relate, but I have always used the 4 seasons as well as the new year to make change. Whether it's changing my hair or changing my thoughts, changing my wardrobe, changing my routines, or that big spring deep clean that I do when spring comes. And so I can open the windows and get the ashes out from the fireplace that's been burning all winter. And those black fingerprints from my little girl's hands. And I'll just quickly say, too, that when they come home from skiing, they have these ginormous ski bags. They literally just toss them down the stairs. So I have all these black marks going down my stairwell walls from the bags bouncing or pinging back and forth until it makes it to the bottom of the stairs. So I use springtime to just kind of go through and touch everything up. And sometimes I'll even use these spring markers or summer markers to tell myself I'm going to drop 10 pounds to deal with any weight maybe that I put on during the winter. I basically use the 4 seasons and even the new year as a time to reset. They are my signals for change. But these are the small changes. These are the changes that are what I like to call low-hanging fruit. I like to deal with the easy stuff first, get it out of the way, so I can deal with the hard or that season of life that I'm in. And this is where I have been funked up and seen other women funked up, is that you're trying to move out of the season you're currently in your life. At the same time, the seasons change. And let me give you an example. You heard me mention a few minutes or a few seconds ago about designated my spring or summer as a quick chance to switch and drop 10 pounds. But over the last year or so, that has not been so easy. And you also heard me mention perimenopause, menopause, I can't even say it, or this just transition of life. I'm gaining weight. But if you know me, I'm trying everything that I can, whether it's hormone replacement therapy, peptides, whatever it is. I'm trying it to see if it works, to see if my hormones change. I've tried everything. And this now has been over a year in the making. And if you count hormone replacement therapy, it's been 2+ years. But I've never lost that stronghold of that belief that I am resilient. This too shall pass. I shall get through it, just like my other menopause survivors. But in the beginning, I'm telling you this because in the beginning, I was thinking, oh, okay, in the spring, I'll just drop the 10 pounds. It didn't happen, and my mind went all crazy. But I'm actually in the season of life of transition, and it's going to take some time. But here's the thing. Even in your seasons of life, you don't have to rush out of them. You can still take action towards your dreams, towards the things you want to do, towards your future self. While in those seasons, don't be in a hurry just to get out of them. And let me tell you, if you're trying to resist the season, it just becomes an even bigger obstacle. You may be in the season of caring for an aging parent, or in the season of being a mom to little ones, or in the season of transition like me. Insert whatever you want. Don't get yourself in a funk by trying to rush out of them. Who knows how long that season will last? It does not change with the seasons here on earth. Take how long you need in that season, especially when you're caring for an aging parent. You never know how long that season will last. But enjoy the moment and still plant your seeds. Accept what you can't or really don't even want to change. You can still dream and take action towards your goals in the midst of this season. You are resilient. Eventually, you will come out of that season. Those seasons, patterns, they don't last forever. It might just take a little longer. And it's funny because I recently had a woman who was homeschooling, and that's my thing right now. She told me that if she didn't do her idea right away, people would be already doing it by the time she was done with her homeschooling. And my response to that, it was, who cares if other people are doing it? If you're planting seeds towards it, by the time you're done with homeschooling and you have a little more time freed up to invest more time into it, who cares if other people are doing it? If other people are doing it, that just means together you can reach more people. And you can add your own special sauce, if you will, so that it reaches the people that the other people couldn't reach. Holding on to that thought, I am resilient, will get you through that hard season that you're in. So don't give up on taking action towards your ideas, your dreams, even if it's already being done. Somebody needs what you're willing to put out into the world. I'm always fascinated by the My Pillow guy. He started in 2004 and had 5 employees. Today, he sold over 41 million pillows. and had 1,500 employees by 2017. And talk about season of life. This guy was basically a drug addict. And talk about resilience. He overcame this huge hurdle and still put out into the world pillows. Pillows were invented before this guy started putting out pillows in 2004 or 5, right? So it's never too late. Plant your seeds while you're in the season of life. Don't try to resist that season, but you can still take action. Actively participate in your life, even if the season you're in is hard, because you know you're resilient. Remember that thought, that belief? I am resilient. And I know you have plenty of evidence to support that belief with your own examples. We were designed for adversity, and contrastingly, we were also designed to be resilient. Maybe you're all funked up because your belief is that your actions are not big enough, that they're too little, too late. You're in a season and can't move to another season to get that thing done. I love the saying, whether you have weeds or roses, both will grow in water and light. You can choose what you want to grow. You can weed out your garden so your roses grow. And if you're in Colorado, you can get rid of the roses so your weed can grow. Whatever is your choice, but be purposeful about what you want to grow. Even if you are in a season, you can still take tiny actions and plant a few little seeds. When you get out of that season, maybe a few of those seeds will have grown. And then you start feeding it or nurturing it by investing more time in it, and you discover it fully blooms. Think of it. What if your spring is your 20-year-old to 30-year-old self? What if your winter is your 45 to 55-year-old self? And what if you reap your harvest after you're 55? It's just a season. You are resilient, and it shall pass. Led Zeppelin had it right when they sang, upon us all, a little rain must fall. And it is the great Poppy Troll that reminds us that when it rains, and though it's hard, we are resilient, and we can get back up again. Okay, I'll give up my singing skills. But it was also the great Harry Connick Jr. who mentioned in an interview, and I love this so much, and I think it fits perfectly right here, have something to edit. Just do a bunch of things. Have something or some things to edit. So I don't know if this is you right now, but even if there is a day, a week, a month, a year, where you see yourself as that skeleton running while putting your head back on your shoulders, or in a season of life that you just cannot seem to get out of, the world is moving too fast, or it's just too late for you to start up something, start up a dream, keep moving. Eventually, you will have something to edit, like the great Harry Connick Jr. said. You will have something to edit, and who knows where that can lead. Don't go off of what you've seen. Things are happening every day that are blowing our mind, right? So go ahead. Take some action while you're in that season. You are resilient, and when you come out of it, there might be something there that blooms. So put that thought, I am resilient, on your thought shelf. Pull it down whenever you need it. And girl, it's time. Let's go. Before you go, Superwoman, I'd love it if you took a little action for me. Like, subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. Also, share the episode with a friend. And as a thank you, hit up my website to crystalsumner.com, thecrystalsumner.com, to grab free journal prompts. Okay, ladies, now is the time to go on Funk Your Mind, play bigger, and ask for more. Open the door to possibility and cancel playing small. So get up and go.